Hey everyone, it's your Tita Kate back with another video. I know I posted a video just yesterday, but this coming weekend I'll be going home to my mom's hometown and internet access isn't exactly the best in the countryside, so I thought I'd post an extra video to make up for it. So my video for today will be the booktube newbie tag, which I really should have done as my first video, but I kind of just, jumped into the whole yay, I'm a booktuber thing, so I didn't really plan out the videos that I'm gonna have up. So I kind of someone just commented on a previous video that like, hey, you should really do the booktube newbie tag. And then Fadwa did the booktube newbie tag yesterday, I think. So like it kind of reminded me like, yeah, this is really something I should be doing as a booktube newbie. Anyway, so if you see me looking in that direction, that's where the questions are. So like, yeah. So let's start with the first question. Okay, so let's start with the first question. And the first question is, why did you start this channel? Okay, to be honest, I don't know why I started this channel. I could not... Oh, wait. I started it off because I had just finished reading Descendant of the Crane, and I could not, like, properly articulate my thoughts in a review. This was when Shalea and I were in Kuala Lumpur, and I could not write at all my review. Like, my thoughts were just all over the place. So I thought, since Shalea and I were vlogging about our trip, why not like try and film a video review, which I did. And I enjoyed making the video so much that I ended up filming a review for Shadow Glass as well. And I guess I enjoyed making videos so much that I decided to make it a thing. I decided to make BookTube a thing. Alright, so the second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I don't know about fun. My content isn't like fun, I think. My content is sometimes really sarcastic. But unique, well, it's not a secret that like the things that I talk about in my blog are all about diversity and representation. And I think I have a unique perspective in that sense of like, not only am I a person of color, a queer person, I'm also a person of color and a queer person who doesn't live in a global north country. I'm from a third world country that where access to anything really is twice as hard as it would be if I were living in the States or in Europe. So I have that double perspective, I guess you could call it, of looking at certain issues in the book community. Which isn't to say that I'm the only one. I mean, I know there are a ton of book bloggers out there the Filipino book blogger community is quite large on its own. And of course, there are a ton of other book bloggers out there who are from global south countries as well. But basically, I think my voice added to that community would I'd like to add my voice to that community. I know a lot of people have already said that they like hearing what I have to say and that they're glad I said something about a certain issue, and I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very glad that like people can relate to what I have to say, and I guess that's the unique thing that I can bring to BookTube. Well, it's unique in a certain way, I guess, but yeah. Fun. I don't know about fun. I mean, I try to be fun. I don't know if I'm succeeding, but there's a reason why my branding is Tita. So yeah, anyway, there's that. So on to the third question. The third question is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I don't know. I guess making videos, having a new avenue or outlet for like my book reviews or whatever. I don't really know. I honestly have no plan for where this BookTube is going. I don't know what I'm doing with this, but I guess I'm excited for like just trying out something new and having fun while doing it. So yeah. The next question is, why do you love reading? Oh my gosh. I don't know. Escapism would be like the standard stereotypical answer, I guess. But Gosh, I really don't know. I guess it's like a sense of like kinship, or knowing that if you really relate to a book, if a certain book really resonates with you, you're like, this person, this author, I don't know this author, I've never met this author, we don't even live in the same country, they're thousands of miles away, and yet somehow they manage to articulate something that I feel, something that I relate to, something that makes me feel seen. And it's like this whole, even though the world is wide and large, in that one moment where you're reading that book and then something that the author says resonates with you, for one small moment the world feels smaller and safer, I guess. I'm pretty sure I took that concept from a series of unfortunate events, something about the world is quiet here, something like that. But yeah, that was a really inarticulate answer, but whatever. Okay, so the next question is, what book or series got you into reading? Gosh, it's been so long. Okay, I remember when I was like 2 or 3 years old, or 1 or 2 years old. I was really young. My mom used to read from this book to me. It was like this fairy tale book. It was in Spanish. I remember that. And actually, I think Fadwa talked about a similar book, the same book that she has in French. And it was a book of fairy tales, and it had some, like, aside from the standard fairy tales, it had some really whack fairy tales in there. Like, there was a fairy tale about a girl who, like, she was like blessed by this witch, and every time she talked, diamonds and flowers and pearls would come out of her mouth. And then her stepsister was cursed, and every time she talks, snakes and toads would come out of her mouth. So like, yeah, that was a really weird, effed up fairy tale. And then there was another one about like gosh, I can't remember the rest of the fairy tales, but I remember some of the fairy tales in that book were really messed up. And it had a really pretty painting of like the Snow Queen on the front. Anyway, so yeah, my mom would read that book to me when I was younger, and then like it got to a point where I knew the story so well that I would sit on the ground and like read the book. But like and people, my mom's friends would come in and say like, oh my god, your 1-year-old can read. And then my mom's like, no, she can't read, it's just that she's memorized the, oh hey Espresso, you want to be in the video? But yeah, anyway, that's my cat. Anyway, so, where was I? Sorry, I got distracted by my cat. But anyway, so yeah, my mom's friends would come in and see me, like, reading the book, and they'd be like, oh, your 1-year-old can read. And then my mom would be like, no, she can't read yet. It's just that, you know, she's memorized the book so that she sits down and then pretends she's reading it by reciting the story out loud. But yeah. So anyway, that's the book that got me into reading. And then, like, from there, jumped off to the usual kids stuff, like, the series of unfortunate events, which I talked about earlier, which I mentioned earlier, and A Wrinkle in Time, and of course Harry Potter. And yes. All right, the next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Okay, first of all, how do you do this? Because I feel weird and self-conscious talking to a camera. So like, yeah, that would. Oh, hi, Espresso. Before my cat so rudely interrupted, I was saying that I would ask my favorite booktubers how they manage to talk to a camera, considering I feel weird and awkward and self-conscious as hell. So that'd be one question. And as you saw earlier, my cat walked into the frame, so I guess that would be another question for booktubers who have pets. How do you make videos without your cats coming in and ruining the shot? Right now, I actually kind of like Espresso likes going inside my closet, so she's in there right now, and like she enjoys nesting in my clothes, so I kind of distracted her from walking into the video frame by putting her in there. The door's open, don't worry. She's got air, and she enjoys, like I said, she enjoys nesting in my clothes. But yeah, so that's preoccupying her while I film this. Anyway, so the next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel would be hardest to overcome? Okay, so yeah, there's that one. I feel awkward and weird and self-conscious talking to the camera. The second one, I guess, would be that like I live in a studio apartment, so it's kind of hard to find time that I've got the apartment to myself to make videos. And then, like I said in my first video, I don't have any of like the fancy equipment that is normally needed to make booktube videos, and my video editing equipment is like super basic, and I only just figured out just recently how to like splice videos and how to add like lay words and so forth. And there she is again. Hi, Bebe. The next question is, when did you start reading? Oh wow, you know, I don't even really remember when I decided like that liking reading was part of my personality, liking to read was part of my personality. I mentioned in an earlier question that my mom had been reading to me since I was like 2 years old, and then I quickly transitioned to like the usual children's books, and then from there to like longer books and so forth. And I don't really remember a time when I wasn't reading, like when I had like a consciousness that like the ability to recognize that like this is me as a person and these are things that I enjoy. I don't really remember a time when I didn't like reading, so that long, I guess. Anyway, yeah, the next question is, where do you read? Anywhere. I don't know how many of you know this, but I take a motorbike to work, and I am perfectly capable of reading. Like, I have the Kindle app on my phone, and I'm perfectly capable of reading a book while on the back of a motorbike. I can read on the train, on the bus, in a car. Although I prefer reading, aside from like my apartment, you know, I love reading in places like the beach, or like the countryside. The countryside house where my mom grew up. Basically just being out there in nature, in like, you know, surrounded by trees and water and whatnot, and then having a good book. But basically I can read anywhere. Oh, and I love reading in coffee shops too. I love reading in Starbucks. I know it's like the most basic white girl thing ever to like enjoy reading in a Starbucks, but I can't help it. I like the sound of like the coffee shop noise all around me. So yeah, there's that. And the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? I love SFF. Sci-fi and fantasy is my jam. It doesn't matter what age range it's for, if it's an adult sci-fi or fantasy book, or if it's YA or MG, I love it. I love contemporary romance. I especially love contemporary romance that's written by diverse authors. So queer authors, authors of color, mostly because they have a lens, disabled authors as well, mostly because they have a lens that through which they tell the stereotypical romance story that has like an added aspect to it that I personally think white, able-bodied, cis-hetero authors just can't give to a romance. So yeah, anyway, that kind of went off tangent there, but like, yeah, basically that's what I love reading. I like, what else do I like? Gosh, wow, I can't think of anything else. Oh, I'll read mystery and thriller sometimes, especially if it's like mystery and thriller that's like mixed with sci-fi or fantasy or historical novels. Oh, there, I love historical novels. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I'm trying to read more historical novels written by POC or about POC, or set in not in the States. So that's something that I'm trying to do a little bit more of. And yeah. So that was my newbie booktube tag. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with all the meowing and my cat walking into the frame. And yeah, but that's it, like I said. And thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Love and light to everyone. See you next time.